We don't have any Storm overseas news for you, unfortunately, as that still hasn't been updated. It's still looking for that. But we do have something pretty important. On November 30th, the Storm would release their 2023 schedule. So we have some updates for that. It was one small note, one to be the instigator here. The Storm were using pictures of Breanna Stewart to promote this, so I assume that means they're sure she'll come back, but we'll see. The official schedule starts on May 20th for Seattle versus the Las Vegas Aces at home. That's a 12 p.m. start. It's a Commissioner's Cup game. The next one is May 26th versus the Dallas Wings at home, 7 p.m. That's a Commissioner's Cup game. May 30th versus New York Liberty at 6. June 3rd at the LA Sparks at 6 o'clock. That's the Commissioner's Cup game as well. June 6th versus the LA Sparks at home is a 7 p.m. start, which is another Commissioner's Cup game. June 9th versus the Washington Mystics is a 7 o'clock start. June 11th versus the Washington Mystics is a 3 p.m. start. June 13th at the Mercury is a 7 o'clock start, a Commissioner's Cup game. This is a lot. So this, if you need to pause, this is the first half of the season. Pause and look at that. And then the second half of the season here, Commissioner's Cup games end on June 29th versus the Lynx. So that's the last time you'll see that. It's a 40-game season. It's the first time in WNBA history that they will do that. Some other schedule notes. The WNBA season begins on Friday, May 19th with 4 games. The campaign concludes on Sunday, September 10th, followed by the WNBA playoffs. The 2023 AT&T WNBA All-Star Game is scheduled for Saturday, July 15th. More of that information on the All-Star Game, including where the location of the game will be, is to be announced later. Similar to last season's schedule, the Storm play 11 of its first 16 games at home. After that, Seattle ends the season with 15 of its final 24 games on the road, including 7 of its last 9. Seattle's longest homestand is 4 games from August 8th through 18th as the Storm hosts Connecticut, Atlanta, Phoenix, and Minnesota. The Storm has 2 separate 4-game road trips from July 6th through 12th and August 31st through September 8th. Seattle has just 1 back-to-back set of games on the road this season, but it is a tough one as the Storm play Washington on July 11th and then head down to Atlanta on July 12th. Both games are scheduled for 7 p.m. Eastern time. Month by month, home and away games. So May will have 3 home games and 0 on the road. June will have 7 home games, 5 on the road. July will have 3 home games, 7 on the road. August will have 6 home games, 5 on the road. And September will have 1 home game and 3 road games. The TV and streaming schedule will be announced later and closer to the start of the season. So it's a long schedule. It's good to see that, though, just so there's possibility for more of these games to be put nationally in terms of broadcast stuff. Obviously, we still need to get that later on. But as I've said through this offseason and when the series against the Aces ended to end Seattle's season, it's a big offseason for the Storm, who have few players under contract. It's a big free agency. Again, will Breanna Stewart even decide to play in the WNBA, let alone returning to the Storm? Who does Seattle add at the point guard spot to, complement Jewel Lloyd at the 2? Do you give Ezi Magbegor the reins to just be your starting center throughout the year, as she was having a great start to the 2022 season? Who do you add to round out the bench for the Storm? These are a lot of big decisions that need to be made this offseason by Noelle Quinn and the front office. It's a big offseason, in the draft, let alone the free agency period. Are you going to be able to get rookies that will impact this team in the 2023 season? So that's something that we still have to look at and get through when free agency really starts to kick off, and to look at that before we get to camp in May. So